Book 1, Law of Salimi, Chapter 20, Talents and Abilities. Continuing from the analysis of the anime law of Ueki, I have covered a lot about having talents and abilities in the story plot of the anime. I got a sense that it is not much different when it comes to real life person. Everyone is blessed with certain natural talent and ability when the person is born into this world. I would assume that such talent and ability might be inherited from lineage, or possibly the person is lucky enough to have them embedded in their DNA or genetics. I do not claim myself to be an expert in the field of DNA or genetics. However, I have been watching hundreds and possibly thousands hours of documentaries relating to scientific matters. I believe that talents and abilities can be embedded or hidden in a person's DNA or genetics, which is known as natural born talent and ability. However, every person needs to try performing that particular skill to unlock and unleash the hidden talent or ability. Even if the person is known to have zero talent for a particular skill, just like Ueki, you can train them and improve them. However, it might be very difficult and time-consuming to perform something at high level of skills when you do not possess the talent or ability to do so. The fact of the matter is, from my personal life experience and analytical observation, everyone can do anything that they wish. Without talent, it becomes much more difficult, but it is possible to become highly skilled in a particular ability. With talent, it becomes very easy to achieve even the highest level or becoming the best in a particular ability amongst others. Moreover, if you are passionate about it, it becomes fun and exciting despite of the level of hardship and difficulties that you need to endure. Those are my notions about talents and abilities in real life. It might not reflect the absolute truth or considered as a fact of life, but my gut tells me that I'm on the right path. In reality, I believe that our present knowledge is currently unable to scientifically determine the nature of talent and ability with absolute certainty, with support for undeniable proof and evidence. The fact is, most of us, including scientists and experts in the related field, do not know the absolute truth about talent and ability. It would be safe to say that all of us assumes and perceives things to be so in real life. Anyway, I am not writing this chapter to debate with anyone about the philosophies of knowledge on talents and ability, but simply to explore them. Every person should at least give themselves a chance to try something new in their life, to discover whether they are good and not in doing that skill. It means that you will never find out if you never try anything in your life. For example, if you study a particular subject, you might find it difficult and begin to hastily abandon it. After that, you began to convince yourself that you do not have the talent for it and decided to never try it again. In this example, I feel that you might not give the subject ample time for you to learn about it correctly and adequately before justifying whether you have the talent for it or not. In my opinion, you should allocate ample time spent doing it before arriving the decision that it might not suit yourself. Consider this analogy. When you play a new video game for the very first time, you need to learn the basics on how to play the game. After spending enough time to learn how to correctly play the game, you need to at least play half of the game before deciding whether the game is fun or not. In order to determine the quality of the story plot of the game, you need to finish the game at least once before making decision whether it was a great story. In effect, you already spent an abundant amount of time before deciding whether you have skills in mastering the game. In effect, this analogy, when compared to study a subject, most people tend to decide that they do not like or not good on the subject in the first few classes. Once you decided in your mind that you hate the subject, you will be attending the class while suffering throughout the semester hating it. The fact is, you chose to hate the subject before even spending ample time to properly learn the basics on how to master the subject. Furthermore, when you try to learn something that you already made up in your mind that you hate it, almost with absolute certainty that you cannot master that subject. Hence, the safest way to develop your skills and master any subject, the safest way would be in a neutral mindset or have an open mind before making any decision in your mind. Apart of that, it would be best to learn any subject when you are passionate about learning and knowledge. In doing so, your passion would make anything under the sun or beyond to be automatically fun and exciting to be discovered and learned. Essentially, having a passion for knowledge is setting your mind to love learning. It is a paradigm shift from a neutral into a favorable emotion about learning and knowledge. I feel that the best way to cultivate passion in your heart would be through being inspired by others' spirits or life experience. A part of that, it might be possible to reset your mindset towards loving knowledge by appreciating the journey of learning itself. As mentioned in earlier chapters, intention to learn that does not focus at making more money would help you appreciate the process of learning and thus develop and cultivate the passion for knowledge. Nevertheless, when you are passionate about learning, you are able to spend more time doing something new, which allow you to develop your skills in that particular activity. Generally, with enough time, even a person without any talent at all would be able to achieve and develop high-level skills and abilities which are achievable with time, hard work, and determination. At times, it is possible to discover that you might be talented in specific area very early in the duration you spend doing the activities. It is amazing to discover your talent and ability in various fields of knowledge, an area of study or other activity including sports, dancing, singing, and so forth. Generally, every person could possess several talents and abilities which can be unearthed or discovered by trying something new in your life. The key of discovering talent is to always try something new or anything that you haven't tried before. Remember to allow ample time before deciding if it is not suited for you. In the case of Kosuke Yueki, he had several excellent talents in the beginning of the anime, including being a natural born genius. Later, after several episodes, he began losing most of his talents, including the genius talent. As a result, he needs to spend a tremendous amount of time to finish even the simplest homework, but he never gave up trying to improve himself. In the real life, I believe that we can gain talent and abilities simply by developing them through hard work and determination. In addition, we cannot simply lose our talent unless something specific occurred, such as severe damage to the brain. In reality, talents and skills in most areas tend to be permanent with an individual. However, certain ability and skill requires practice, such as fitness, endurance in most sports activity. From my experience, Training helps to improve and sharpen your skill such as drawing and writing. All in all, my notion and all about all skills, talents and abilities they are highly related to your cognitive abilities. It means that as you train using your brain before practicing your skills, it will improve the skills as well as any related talent and ability. For example, as you train to improve your language skills, it might improve the relevant skill tied to the language, such as speaking fluency, writing ability, reading speed, and so on. In my case, I do not have any natural talent when it comes to drawing. Nonetheless, just like Yueki, I am determined to develop my drawing skills because I am passionate for knowledge and learning. It took me a very long time, but now my drawing skills improved vastly when compared to the time I started drawing at 17 years old. The same goes with sport. I lack any talent in almost any sport, but I enjoy playing sports because it is fun. The only talent that I am known about in real life is the talent of getting myself lost. I am very passionate about geography, but when it comes to commuting to a specific destination, I always manage to get myself lost or ending up taking the scenic route. Despite of that, I look at it as an opportunity for me to see new places, which I might end up while trying to get to a different destination. Even though my talent can be considered as useless, it can be perceived as useful by appreciating the journey instead of focusing simply on the destination. All it takes is to shift your paradigm and thinking to change from negative into a positive mental attitude. Similar to the perception of Darwin, a fish with legs from the cartoon The Amazing World of Gumball, who perceive the beautiful and fun perspective of life instead of focusing on the negativity. I am focusing the amazing things in my life. It is too tiring to always feel dreadful about everything in my life. Instead, be happy and work towards becoming a great human being. Strive to become the best that you can ever be. It does sound cheesy, even to me, but I don't care. Instead of possessing numerous helpful talents in my life, I discovered that I have acquired several allergies. These are not the same to the standard definition of allergies, such as allergy reaction to certain food or cat. My allergies can be defined as the things that I cannot avoid doing if I encountered something specific in my life. For example, I am allergic from talking to female individuals with certain characteristics which I will not mention in this book for obvious reasons that I do not need to explain. During my studies at UiTM campus Manggata, whenever I spoke to a certain individual, I never looked at her face. Instead, I either look at the floor or to the sky while talking to her. In doing so, I made myself to appear like an idiot. Notwithstanding, if I look to such individual for even short period of time, I might fall in love with that person, which is forbidden for me while I was studying at UiTM campus Manggata. If that person is currently reading this book and remembered my reaction, I hope she can accept that my explanation for behaving in such way, and I am sorry for doing it. I am not disrespecting anyone, it is just my allergy towards anyone with those features. I have many other weird allergies that I had acquired so far. One of them is my allergies answering my handphone when I cannot identify the number of person who is calling me. Don't ask me why. Very recently, I am extremely allergic when people ask me about my PhD. Don't bother to ask either. I hope I am capable to write about it in the future chapter, but honestly, I cannot give any guarantee that I will be able to. All I can right now for now is the fact that most of my allergies are based on intense trauma that inhibit my action to behave as a normal human being. This ends the chapter 20. Thank you very much for listening and hope to see you again in the next chapter.